Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today is about classes and objects, how to create them, and the two functions init and string, which you will be which we will be encountering a lot. My bad, the grammar. When you code with Python, because objects are very much what Python is about. Python is an object-oriented language. And, if you have any questions about what they are, just continue to watch on. First off, creating a class. As I've mentioned, in Python, most things are objects, okay? And a class is a blueprint for an object. You can see it as the womb. As weird as that sounds, it constructs an object, okay? And if you want to have an object created, you must first create a class. And here I have a class, name new class with the phrase hello world, okay? And that's just there in the wild. It won't print anything, it won't display anything. That's just a blueprint starting. Next up, to creating an object. We're going to use the same class before a new class to create a new object. I have person, new class, referencing to the new class, and then I print person dot phrase. Now, this phrase over here, hello world, it has become a property of person. All right. Just as in real life, a dog may have the property of breed, name, color, preference, whatever you want to assign to it. The same goes for, objects in Python. You assign them their properties and you sort of manipulate them that way. Next up, to the init function. All classes have an init function that runs when the class is created or initiated. It can be used to assign properties or anything that's necessary when it comes to creating an object. And I'm going to show you an example. I have a class, new class, my pet, and then def init. And then init, I have self, type, and preference. Now, self is not a property name, it's not property value. It is referencing my pet, okay? So self, meaning the object itself, dot type equals to type, self dot preference equals to preference. Now let's create a new variable, name occupant, referencing the class my pet with the argument turtle and eating kale. Turtle, type, eating kale, preference. All right. And now we print the occupant type, since type equals to type, and we pass in the type, which equals this type, that also equals this type and this type. You can see how it goes round and round. Print occupant dot type would be turtle, and print occupant dot preference would be eating kale. Okay. Let's move on to the next part, the string function, which controls the return when a class object is a string. This is without the string function. What I mean is the example down here. I will show you what it's like without and with the string function. Going back to our class pet, init, self, type, preference, same thing. Self.type equals type, self.preference equals preference, and we have, our turtle and eating kale. Once we print this out, I will show you, obviously, in a demonstration. It's hard to say it out loud, but it's quite a hard to read format. Now, let's try it with the string function. Same class, self-type preference. Now, we have the string self. Once again, self in reference to the object that we're creating here. Return and F for format, okay? We have self.type, self.preference, meaning we want to print this part that we've passed in as well as this part as the format, Okay, so it's easier to read, easier to understand, and easier to know what we've inputted, what we've coded into, compared to the no string function result. And if we print occupant, it will return cat and eating grass, which I will show you, of course. Now,
first off, let's start with class, my class. Phrase, hello world. Then let's get out of here. Person equals to my class, print person dot phrase. All right. Let's create a new class. Class my pet. Def init. Self type preference. Self.type equals type. Self.preference equals to preference. Now let's move on to occupant equals to my pet turtle and eating kale. Print occupant.type and then just print occupant. I almost forgot. Let's print preference as well. Print occupant to see what this will give us, the format, just to check with and without string function. Now let's create another class. Class friend. Def init. Self like and dislike. Self.like equals to like. Self.dislike equals to dislike. Right? And then let's move on to the string function. Def string self. New line. Return format. Loves self.like but hates self.dislike. Okay. Now let's get out of here. And person goes to friend. Coffee. Well, let's not capitalize it. Coffee and tea. Okay. Print person. All right. Now let's see how this all works out for us. So first off, we have hello world, print person phrase. Phrase is hello world. And then we have turtle and eating kale, right? Occupant preference and occupant type. Now if we just print occupant without the string function, this is what we get. It's hard to understand, right? But when we include the string function with its own format, loves self.like but hates self.dislike, this is what we get. And obviously you can change some stuff around here and it will reflect in the display. Okay?
That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for watching until the end. Our next topic, very, very important, is going to be about modifying objects. Now that we've learned how to create class, the blueprint, and how to create object and then printing object with the init and string function, next advanced step is obviously how to modify them. And don't you worry, it's quite similar to arrays, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe, learn today, better tomorrow, and have a wonderful day.